Hogwarts Legacy 2 is shaping up to be a much bigger and more ambitious project than many of us initially expected. We already know that the sequel is currently in development at Avalanche Software, but with every new report, it becomes clearer that this game is aiming to surpass the original in almost every possible way. The first Hogwarts Legacy was a massive success. It became one of the highest-selling games of its release year and reportedly generated over $1 billion in revenue. Because of that success, expectations for the sequel are understandably sky high, and recent developments suggest that Avalanche Software and Warner Bros. Are fully aware of that pressure. Let's break down everything we currently know about Hogwarts Legacy 2, including development updates, canceled DLC planned story connections to the upcoming Harry Potter HBO series, and what fans can realistically expect from the sequel. According to recent reports, Avalanche Software is actively hiring for multiple key roles related to Hogwarts Legacy 2. These include positions such as senior animators, executive producers, and several other development-focused roles. This is a strong indicator that the game is not only deep in development, but also expanding in scope. Job listings have revealed some important details about the sequel. First and foremost, Hogwarts Legacy 2 is once again confirmed to be a full open-world RPG. Players will be able to explore a vast magical world similar to, or even larger than, the original game's map. Additionally, these listings confirm that the sequel will feature post-launch content. This is especially important because one of the biggest criticisms of the first game was the lack of meaningful post-launch support. While Hogwarts Legacy was packed with content at launch, fans were disappointed that no major DLC expansions followed. The sequel also appears to be introducing new magical creatures and animals, expanding the wizarding ecosystem even further. On top of that, the game will be built using Unreal Engine 5, which strongly suggests improved visuals, better lighting, more detailed environments, and smoother animations across the board. It has already been confirmed by multiple sources that Hogwarts Legacy 2 will be significantly bigger than the first game. This doesn't just mean a larger map, it also likely means a deeper story, more complex quests, improved RPG systems, and more meaningful choices for the player. The first game laid an excellent foundation, but it also played things relatively safe in certain areas. Combat was fun, exploration was rewarding, but some players felt that the darker elements of the wizarding world were only lightly touched upon. The sequel has a real opportunity to push further, especially when it comes to moral choices, dark magic, and consequences. Personally, I hope Warner Bros. Allows Avalanche Software to fully explore the darker side of the wizarding world this time, leaning more into forbidden spells, moral ambiguity, and the cost of power. Hogwarts Legacy hinted at this, but Hogwarts Legacy 2 could fully embrace it. Now let's talk about one of the most disappointing pieces of news for fans, the cancellation of the planned Hogwarts Legacy DLC that was reportedly scheduled for 2025. This cancellation came as a major letdown, especially considering how successful the original game was. With over $1 billion in revenue, many fans expected at least one major story expansion. However, despite that financial success, no substantial post-launch DLC ever materialized. While this was frustrating, the cancellation now makes more sense. It appears that Warner Bros. Made the decision to shift all resources and focus entirely towards Hogwarts Legacy 2. Instead of splitting development efforts between DLC and a sequel, they chose to go all in on making the next game as big and polished as possible from a business perspective. This decision is understandable, even if it was disappointing for players in the short term. One of the most interesting and potentially controversial developments is the reported connection between Hogwarts Legacy 2 and the upcoming Harry Potter. According to reports, the story of Hogwarts Legacy 2 will align with the timeline and narrative direction of the HBO series. This does not necessarily mean the game will directly adapt the show, but events, themes, and lore elements will likely overlap. This opens up some exciting possibilities. We could see characters that were never present in the first game, or explore events that run parallel to the HBO series. It also allows Warner Bros. To create a more unified wizarding universe across television and gaming. However, this approach also comes with risks. The developers will need to balance creative freedom with narrative consistency, ensuring that the game remains enjoyable for players who may not be watching the series. There were also rumors circulating at one point about Warner Bros. Wanting to adapt Hogwarts Legacy into a Netflix series. However, nothing substantial ever came from those reports. In reality, this idea never made much sense. Warner Bros. Is already heavily invested in the HBO Harry Potter series, and working with Netflix on a competing adaptation would have been both expensive and unnecessary. It's far more likely that Warner Bros. Decided to focus all efforts on HBO rather than spreading resources across multiple platforms. Given the scale of the HBO series, canceling any Netflix-related plans was probably the smartest move. At this point, it's clear that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is being positioned as a flagship title for Warner Bros. Games, we can expect a brand new story, new characters, and a more refined RPG experience. While the first game introduced us to a beautifully realized version of Hogwarts and its surrounding areas, the sequel has the opportunity to expand beyond that, both narratively and mechanically. Improved NPC interactions, more impactful choices, deeper magic systems, and stronger post-launch support could all be on the table. Most importantly, fans want meaningful evolution, not just more of the same. If Avalanche Software can learn from the strengths and weaknesses of the first game, Hogwarts Legacy 2 could become the definitive Wizarding World RPG. Hogwarts Legacy 2 is still some time away, but everything we've seen so far suggests that it's going to be bigger, darker, and more ambitious than its predecessor. The cancellation of the original DLC may have been disappointing, but if it leads to a stronger sequel, it may be worth the wait. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you want to see in Hogwarts Legacy 2? More dark magic, a deeper story, bigger consequences for your choices? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe for more gaming news and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.